Hello, I am Sujata Sheikh from Government First Grade College and Center for PG Studies Tenkanediur Udupi. In this video session, we will be continuing the concepts on directed graphs. This concept is a part of a syllabus of 6th Sem BSc course under Mangalore University. In this video session, we will be discussing some different types of matrices of digraphs, that is incidence matrix, circuit matrix and fundamental circuit matrix. We first recollect the definition of a directed graph. A directed graph, or simply called as a digraph, G, consists of a set of vertices V which is equal to V1, V2, etc. Vn, and a set of edges capital E equal to E1, E2, etc. Em, and a mapping psi that maps every vertex onto some ordered pair of vertices Vi, Vj. The incidence matrix of a digraph, denoted as capital A, is a n by n matrix whose rows correspond to vertices and columns correspond to edges, and each element Aij is assigned three values +1, -1 or 0. Aij is assigned value 1 if the jth edge is incident out of the ith vertex. Aij is assigned value -1 if jth edge is incident into the ith vertex, and Aij is equal to 0 if jth edge is not incident on the ith vertex. Let us see an example here. For this digraph G given, we will see how to write the incidence matrix. Let us consider the vertex V1. We see that there are two edges. One edge is incident into V1 and one edge, that is the edge D, and the edge which is incident out to V1 is F. So the entry corresponding to D will be -1 and the entry corresponding to F will be +1. Corresponding row, if we see the corresponding row with respect to V1, the entry corresponding to D will be -1 and F will be +1. Similarly, if we consider vertex V4, we see that there are four edges A, B, C, E, and all the four edges are incident into the vertex V4. So correspondingly, all these four entries will be -1. So here we see with respect to A, if we consider the row corresponding to vertex V4, with respect to A, entry is -1, B is also -1, C is also -1 and E is also -1. And all the remaining entries are 0 because that edge is not incident into or incident out of the vertex, corresponding vertex V4. Similarly, we can write for all the vertices and hence we will get the corresponding incidence matrix of the digraph G. As we have proved for undirected graph, the result follows similarly for a digraph also. If A is the incidence matrix of a connected digraph on n vertices, then rank of A of G is equal to n minus 1. We can similarly define reduced incidence matrix as we have defined for undirected graph. The reduced incidence matrix AF is a n-1 by E matrix obtained by deleting any one row of A, and the vertex corresponding to the deleted row is called the reference vertex. Let us prove a theorem where we are going to show that the determinant of every square matrix of A, that is the incidence matrix, is either 1 or -1 or 0. The proof is as follows. Let M be a k by k submatrix of capital A, that is the incidence matrix. If M has any column or any row consisting of all zeros, then it is clear that determinant of M is 0. Similarly, if every column of M contains two non-zero entries, 1 and -1, then also we can see that determinant of M will become 0. So, let us consider the case where determinant of M is not equal to 0. So it means M is non-singular and hence the sum of the entries in each column of M also cannot be 0. This also means that M must have a column in which there is a single non-zero element, that is either +1 or -1. Suppose let us assume that this entry either +1 or -1 is in the ijth position in M. Now expanding the determinant of M through this position, we get determinant of M equal to plus or minus determinant of Mij, where Mij is a k minus 1 by k minus 1 submatrix of M with its ith row and jth column deleted. Since M is non-singular, it is clear that the submatrix Mij is also non-singular, and hence it must have at least one column with a single non-zero entry, say with a single non-zero entry, that is either plus 1 or minus 1. Suppose we assume that if it is in the pkth position, then expanding this determinant Mij about this element in the pqth position, we get determinant of Mij is equal to, again, plus or minus determinant of a non-singular k minus 2 by k minus 2 submatrix of M. We apply this procedure repeatedly and we can easily see that determinant of M is either equal to plus 1 or minus 1. Hence, determinant of any incidence matrix is either plus 1 or minus 1 or 0. Hence, the theorem follows. We define a unimodular matrix as a matrix where every square submatrix has determinant either 1, minus 1 or 0. So as we have discussed in the previous theorem, we can say that the incidence matrix of a digraph is a unimodular matrix. Let us next define what is a circuit matrix. Let us consider a digraph G which consists of E edges and Q circuits. These Q circuits may be a directed circuit or a semi-circuit. Here we are going to assign an arbitrary orientation to each of these Q circuits. This orientation may be clockwise direction or it may also be in counterclockwise direction. And hence we will define a circuit matrix which is denoted as capital B. It is a matrix, it is a Q by E matrix where each element Bij is assigned value 1, minus 1 or 0. Bij will be assigned value 1 if ith circuit includes jth edge and orientation of this edge and the circuit coincide. Bij is assigned minus 1 if ith circuit includes jth edge but the orientation of the edge and the circuit are in opposite direction. Bij is assigned 0 if ith circuit does not include jth edge. Let us see an example here. For this digraph, let us try to write the circuit matrix. Here we can see there are 4 circuits. One is consisting of A and B. Second circuit consisting of C, E and F. Third circuit consisting of D, F and G, and fourth circuit consisting of F, E, C and D. We can assign arbitrary orientations of graphs, orientations to each of these circuits. Suppose if we consider the circuit consisting of this A and B. This is in the written in the 4th row. Here, if we assign a counterclockwise direction, then A is in the opposite direction. So A will be the value corresponding to the column corresponding to A is minus 1 and B is along the orientation, that is it is along the counterclockwise direction, so it is assigned as 1. Suppose if we consider the circuit corresponding to these 4 edges, that is C, D, F and E, and let us assume that the orientation is in the counterclockwise direction, then C is along the direction, so C is assigned plus 1. E is in the opposite direction, so E will be minus 1. F is also in the opposite direction, so F is assigned minus 1. D is also in the opposite direction, so D is minus 1, and that is written here corresponding, that is written in the corresponding 3rd row. Similarly, we can write the circuit matrix for all the 4 circuits in the given digraph G. Let us prove a theorem. Suppose that B and A are respectively the circuit matrix and incidence matrix of a self-loop free digraphs such that columns in B and A are arranged using the same order of edges. then we have to prove that A dot B transpose equal to B dot A transpose equal to 0. The proof is as follows. Let us consider the mth row in the circuit matrix B and kth row in the incidence matrix A. If the circuit M does not include any edges incident on the kth vertex, then it is clear that the entries will be 0. So product of the two rows is 0. If the vertex K is in circuit M, then there are exactly two edges, say X and Y, which is incident on K and that are also in circuit M. So in this case, we can see that there will be four cases. These four cases A, B, C, D are due to the orientations of the edges X and Y. And in all these four cases, the values are correspondingly given in table 2. For the first case A, the direction is along clockwise direction. So if we consider the entries corresponding to the circuit matrix, X will be assigned 1 and Y is also assigned 1. That is row corresponding to M. If we see the incidence matrix, for X it will be -1 and for Y it will be +1. So the first row corresponding to A, if we see row K, X is having -1, Y is having value 1. For row M, X is having 1 and Y is having value 1. So dot product of these two rows will give us 0. Similarly, we can see for all the other cases, here values are assigned according to the directions and according to the incidence property. So in all of these cases, we observe that dot product is 0. And hence it follows that A dot B transpose equal to B dot A transpose equal to 0. Using Sylvester's theorem, since A dot B transpose is equal to 0, we can show that rank of B plus rank of A equal to E. Since we know that rank of the incidence matrix is n minus 1, therefore rank of the circuit matrix will be E minus n plus 1. We observe the following. In the incidence matrix of a connected digraph G on n vertices, the non-singular submatrices of order n minus 1 are in one-to-one correspondence with the spanning trees of G. In the circuit matrix B of a connected digraph G on n vertices and E edges, the non-singular submatrices of order mu are in one-to-one correspondence with the chord set of G. For any digraph, the determinant of non-singular submatrix of incidence matrix corresponding to a spanning tree T can assume either a value +1 or -1, and this value is referred to as the sign of T. Let us prove a theorem. Let AF be the reduced incidence matrix of a connected digraph. Then we have to prove that the number of spanning trees in the graph equals the value of determinant of AF dot AF transpose. Let us use Binet-Cauchy theorem, which says that determinant of AF dot AF transpose is equal to sum of the products of all corresponding majors of AF and AF transpose. So let us find the value of every major of AF and AF transpose. If every major of AF and AF transpose corresponds to a spanning tree, then as discussed before, its value is either +1 or -1. Otherwise, it will be 0. And also we can note that both majors of AF and AF transpose have the same value. That is, both are either +1 or both are either -1. And hence the product AF dot AF transpose is always +1 for each spanning tree. And hence determinant of AF dot AF transpose will be equal to sum of all these ones, which is nothing but the number of spanning trees in graph. Hence the theorem. Next, we define a fundamental circuit matrix. With respect to a given spanning tree of a digraph, we know how to construct a fundamental circuit. Now for each fundamental circuit, by adding a chord defines a fundamental circuit matrix BF. And the orientation assigned to each of these fundamental circuit is chosen to coincide with that of the chord. So formally we define what is a fundamental circuit matrix. The fundamental circuit matrix denoted as BF for a digraph is a mu by E matrix, where mu is equal to E minus n plus 1, and can be expressed in the form BF equal to I mu Bt, where I mu is the identity matrix of order mu and the columns of Bt corresponds to the edges in the spanning tree. Let us see an example here. Now for this digraph G, a spanning tree is drawn in heavy lines. Now there are totally 3 chords here: chord B, chord G and chord D. Correspondingly, we will get 3 fundamental circuits, and orientation is assigned in the direction of the chord. So if we consider this fundamental circuit, the orientation of B is towards, so it is assigned in the clockwise direction. For the fundamental circuit formed by the chord G will be E, G and C, and orientation is in the counterclockwise direction. And the third fundamental circuit formed by the chord D corresponds to the fundamental circuit F, E, C and D, and since D is in this direction, the orientation is in the clockwise direction, and accordingly the first 3 entries correspond to the chord, and hence we see that we get an identity matrix. So it is like we'll get block form. The first columns corresponding to the chord set will give us an identity matrix which is of order mu, that is E minus n plus 1, and the remaining matrix Bt. So this is the fundamental circuit of the given digraph G. Thank you for watching.